Alright, let's have a quick look at typically the kinds of things I would take for lunch. A lot of the times I'm into the pita bread. I'll do all kinds of different things with it. These packages of tuna work well with, let's say, a green onion. If you've got a mayonnaise packet, that can work really well with it. They used to have some different flavors, and you can still get them in cans, of course. I don't like carrying cans around, but every once in a while I will. But anyway, makes a good sandwich. Could be, a meat sandwich. Salami lasts a long time. This is called German salami, and I found it to last very well even in high heat. Another thing I'll do is peanut butter and jam. That's an old standby, works well. Put it on your pita bread, and that's what I'm going to eat. I usually put a cup of soup in every daily meal. I tend not to use them, so every once in a while I'll have a couple of them, and I may use a couple of them together to have a soup. Depends how hungry I feel, of course. Another thing, and we just talked about cans, is something like this. So this is a light tuna salad. 150 grams, so you're looking at about 5 ounces there. It's, if you had 3 of these per day, you're still under a pound and a half. So they're not that heavy. Every once in a while I will take these. The can is aluminum. It's not that heavy to carry around. But yeah, it depends. I typically would pick something like this to take with me if I knew I was hiking from one, let's say, town to another, or one camp trailhead to another, where you can get to the garbage and get rid of it. It's always nice to get rid of your garbage. Who wants to carry that around? So yeah, that's kind of the things I would take for lunch, for the most part. Not much different. Throw together a couple of snacks maybe, and that would be my lunch. I do have a separate bag for some extras, I call them, I guess. So these are things typically that I would add to different meals, just to change the flavor or remedy some kind of an issue. So adding some flavors like onion soup mix, adding that to an already packaged soup mix, something like that. Changing the flavor, having these OXO cubes, the bouillon cubes. Wouldn't take them all, but stuff like that would be helpful in giving food a little bit of a boost. And then there's the little packets of mustard, ketchup, whatever. I mentioned green onions before. A shallot is, simple and light, easy to process. They last a long time. So I like taking onions. Another one is mushrooms. These are dried mushrooms. They are fairly pricey, but you just need a few of them to spice up a meal. And to add some calories, some protein or something, I'll do things like add in some egg noodles. They're very, these are the extra fine. They quickly rehydrate. They add an extra punch of protein. Another one I really like, especially in soup, is buckwheat. Doesn't take much. It takes a little bit to cook, so you might have to spend a little bit more fuel. But I usually get this soaking in the water before I even start boiling it. Of course, I wouldn't take this much, but it's great stuff. I really like it. It tastes really good. It's got a nutty flavor to it. And then, instant potatoes, they're great by themselves, or adding, you know, some kind of meat with them or whatever. It's a meal in itself, very easy to make, very quick. But I always keep a package of it in this package, this food package, and that's to thicken up a rehydrated meal that I maybe measured wrong. You know how that is, you end up with a soup instead of a meal. So this can remedy that rather quickly. So that's something that comes along. And that is about the size of that. I think the only thing left to talk about is the main meals. So we'll do that next. So when I'm talking about the main meal, typically I eat the largest meal at the end of the day, and I do prefer hot meals. So mostly it's just boiling water is all I'm doing. However, on the the first day or two of a long trip, especially, I'll take Smokies in a bun and maybe some canned beans, and definitely I will take potatoes, and I'll have them, with some butter, and so having those bake on a fire. Roasting up some Smokies, I really enjoy that, so that's typical of the first couple of days I'll be out. The rest of the meals are, like I said, basically usually just something boiled water. These sidekicks are really good, but once again, it takes a little bit to cook them. Got to pay attention, and this one package is definitely a full meal for me. I've hiked with other people, and usually one of these will split between two people is quite good. So sometimes I cut it in half, have a smaller meal, and that's why sometimes I end up with food at the end of the trip, because I cut back. I also will do actual rice. These styles here, they've already been cooked. Yeah, they're a little bit heavier, but they are cooked already. They're ready to go. I kind of like these because they're easy to flavor, and it's 150 grams worth. This is 250, so it's a smaller meal. It's a perfect amount for myself. This is more like for two meals. So once again, you got to decide how much you're going to eat. So having this with like a Smoky or something is awesome. I may put, I tend to like meat, so I may put other kind of meats in there. One of the sausages, dried sausages that I really like is called Swiss Farmer sausage. It's an extremely dark colored sausage, about the size of a hot dog, or smaller than a Smoky usually. But they're great. They'll last 7-10 days in extreme heat, and I typically take several of those with me on a longer trip, and I'll just use a third of one or half of one per meal, and we'll make it through the trip. And I'll add that kind of sausage to soup. So lots of these, Raymond style. This one's rice. This is rice, and this is who knows what, instant noodles, whatever that means. Anyway, these are good. They make a meal, and once again, I like putting things in them. Some green onion, that kind of thing, just to add a little bit of flavor and a little bit of greens to it. These are always good. One of my more favorite meals is a Mountain House dinner. It's a chili mac with beef. I really like it with corn chips. And this is, this recipe's been around for a long time. But there's a reason for it, because it does really enhance it, give it some crunch factor. So that it ends up being important, that crunch factor, after many days out in the bush. Eating this kind of food. Yeah. So the corn chips, I would probably, use a third of the bag per meal. There's lots of other companies who make freeze-dried meals. I just happen to have a few Mountain House with me. So that's kind of the typical stuff. Maybe we'll have a quick look at what I put the food in, and maybe the different sizes of bags I'll use, freezer bags for the different meals. Yeah, I think